you're having a hard time leveling up or reaching your goals, you're going to want to listen to this. Consistency is probably the number one way to reach your goals. Resiliency is probably number two. Now, what's the difference? Let's dive in a little bit. But first, I'm Deb, having a human experience, sharing my experiences to help you gain confidence in yours. Here we go. Consistency versus resilience. Consistency is often mentioned in the fitness world a lot. I feel like the majority of people on their journey to improving themselves and their lives, it usually starts with physical fitness. Not that that's ideal, but it is ideal. Our body is our home. It's where our soul resides. What's going on within our body, from what we eat to how we move our body to the energies of people and places that we subject ourselves to, all that is being absorbed by the body, and anything that we absorb is going to alter our chemicals, which instance are going to alter our emotions, which instance are going to alter how we view the world, react to others. And it's just very important. So most people, our society has numbed down our physical being. Our food is not food. It's not carrying the light source energy from the sun anymore, even if it is. Fruits and vegetables, our soil is not healthy. Our nutrient density within the foods is near nothing compared to what it was before the 80s. Like, our society is going through a lot of hard things that we don't necessarily have control over. Like, we're not going to be able to stop the cereal companies from touting sugary cereals as a balanced breakfast. That's probably not going to happen anytime soon. So we have to use consistency to, well, the consistency comes next. We have to use our due diligence to do the research of what's good for us, what's not, then tailor that to our specific bodies, because we all have different bodies. Just because one person thrives off kale, another person might thrive off of just fruits. Another person might thrive off of eating nuts and seeds. Like, we're all different and we all need to determine that. So getting into the fitness world, that's where you'll hear about consistency a lot. Show up to the gym every day or whatever your plan is. I actually don't suggest every day for most people. Like, you're going to burn out unless you know what you're doing. But finding something to hold you, that you can hold yourself accountable for through consistency, that's going to help you get through things. The next step is resiliency. When consistency falls short, or things pop up as roadblocks, or don't go the way you planned, the resiliency is what gets you through that and into the next step. The resiliency is what allows you to not spiral into a victimhood story. Resiliency is what allows you to find the solutions and know that there are solutions and move forward and not give up. I've been a single mom basically my whole life. Even when I was in relationships or with the children's parents, I was still pretty much single, still doing all the work, still doing all the doctor appointments, still caring about their moral mindsets, still paying all the bills, still holding the family. And I've had a lot of roadblocks. My goals have always been to level up to the best that I can. And there has been an enormous amount of resiliency that has backed those up. And not everyone's at different stages in their life. And some people choose to stay at a stage that they're at, and some people choose to rise above it, to move through it. to change. For everything I've been faced, it would have been very easy to stay down. It could have been very easy for me to remain an alcoholic. It could have been very easy for me to remain in the drug scene, chasing that high, pawning off my gear, not caring who we were getting stuff from or what we had to do to get it, just to get that next fix. I very easily could have stayed in those situations, and I didn't. I knew that there was more, and I chose to seek out more. Once I attained a physical fitness that I was happy with, the spirituality came next. And actually through the physical fitness journey, and through all like the personal, I was a personal trainer for many years, and through working with all my clients, I very quickly saw that yes, the physicality is where it starts, but it is deeper. Most goals that people have in their fitness lifestyle are emotional goals. They're goals that affect their soul. So I took the path towards the spiritual journey, of which you still can't let your physical fitness fall behind. You still have to stay up on that, and consistency is that. Resiliency is when everything wants you to just give up. I could easily turn to distractions of play or drugs or parties, but I have a child that relies on me. And not to say that I have to have that child rely on me. There's many parents that walk away from children. I personally know many parents that have chosen to allow someone else to raise that child while they go out and live their life. And some of those people were good friends, but that's their choice. I'm not here to judge their choice. It's not my choice. I always have to deal with my choice, which being a single mom is going to have complications. You have to choose to not give up. You have to choose to keep going. I'm not really sure how to explain resiliency without sharing specific circumstances, but I know it begins with not allowing your energy to spiral. Some of the things that I like to remember when things go wrong is things are always working out for me. Things are always working out for me. The solutions don't need to look how I want them to look. And at least we're still here. Even if sometimes we're not necessarily safe, we might have injuries, we might have illnesses. There's been times where I've literally been homeless. There's been times where I haven't had a vehicle. There's been times my accounts have been in the negative, credit cards maxed out. And there's been times when I've had paid for houses and paid for vehicles. Multiple times. Not just one source of luck. That was in my energy. Many paid for houses, many paid for vehicles. But I've also had many times of desperation. I've had a vehicle repossessed. I've had bankruptcy. I've had the physical abuse, the mental abuse. I have the trauma that I have to work through. I have so much inside of me that is probably manifesting as illness. And I have to choose to be resilient. I have to choose that everything's going to work out for me, that God's plan is coming through. And seemingly, if I were to really describe all the bad things that I've been dealing with the last few years, Any other person that I know probably would have crawled into a hole and drunk themselves away with alcohol or completely disappeared into the drug and party scene. Say, screw all this adulting, screw all this responsibility of trying to take care of someone else. I just want to focus on me. I just want to focus on in the now connections. And that's great for them, but that's not me. I have bigger goals and I have bigger dreams. And I know that consistently holding on to those bigger goals and dreams is what's going to get me there. Consistency needs resiliency to be backed up. Resiliency is knowing that if I have big dreams, God has to know that I can handle the little things first before he gives me the big things. How can I handle businesses and employees if I can't handle my own household and my own child? How can I handle, I mean, that's just the thing, is the bigger dreams. There's always going to be the tip of a balance. There's always going to be something kind of down here, even though you're wanting it to be here and doing your best to make everything up here. You're making all the right choices. And yet there's still going to be things that happen. And all those little things that happen, big things that are happening, are there to teach us that we can be strong and we can go through it and we can handle it. Because we need to show God and we need to show ourselves that we're capable of handling the hard things, that we're capable of letting things not get to us, that we're capable of maintaining our calm, not falling into victimhood, and continuing to make the best choices that we can. We have to continue to trust the choices that we are making, even if trusting our choices previously didn't work out for us. We have to have the resilience to go forward. We have to know that every time we handle these situations that aren't ideal, it's giving us strength and courage and resilience to handle the bigger things that are going to come with our bigger dreams. And having bigger dreams doesn't mean everything's going to be perfect. Just because you have $1 million in the bank doesn't mean your problem's going to be gone. Like, you're not going to have problems. You're still going to have problems. You're just going to have $1 million problems instead of $5,000 problems. I mean, 5 years ago, I wouldn't even thought of having 5 different vehicles in 1 year. But the fact that we've been able to get 5 different vehicles in a year, even though things have happened, we still, and I say we, but a lot of it, my son is learning the resiliency so much. That child works so hard. And he's going to be unstoppable in this world because he's learning so many lessons now that whatever he's faced in adulthood, it's just going, like, it's going to feel easy for him. Doing the hard things already feels easier for him. He's already more responsible than half the adults that I interact with. Resiliency is needed to back up consistency. Because if you don't have resiliency, you're going to fall off of your routine. You're going to let things set you back. Even if you get set back, resiliency is that's the emotion that keeps you, pushes you through the setbacks. I think that's kind of all I have to say today. Choose resiliency. Choose consistency. Choose bigger and better things for yourself. And know that just because things don't look like the way you want them to look doesn't mean you're not on the right path to go to where you want to go. It could be. There could be signs saying you need to go a different direction. And maybe that's where everyone gets hung up. Maybe that's where people fall short of resiliency, is something happens and they feel like, oh my gosh, I made the wrong choice. That wasn't the right choice. What did I do? All this bad stuff happened. I made a wrong choice somewhere. Somewhere I made God wrong. Somewhere I made this person wrong. Like somewhere I have bad karma that's coming back at me. But maybe it's not bad karma of yours that's coming back at you. Maybe it's the releasing of all the fear that's not only just within your body, but in your DNA. There are emotions in your DNA from previous generations. And if you're a woman, you're probably going to be feeling a lot. Whether your life in this life is good or not, you probably have generations and ancestral history inside your DNA that's holding you back. You have to be open to release that. And maybe that's why some people don't release emotions, because okay, here's things. There's some things, there was a time frame in my life where I was like, I feel like there's something inside of me that happened to me as a young child that I don't know about, but I feel like it's blocking something, that it was a really big trauma and there's a lot in me. And I didn't know what that block was because there's not a memory there associated with it. And then one day I realized maybe it's not my memory that's in there. Maybe it's the ancestral DNA that's in there. And that's when you just feel. You don't need to labeling the emotion can be good, but you don't need to try and sort out what experience it came from. If something comes up for you as you're trying to feel it, great, process it, acknowledge it. But a lot of times it's just energy that you just feel overwhelmed by. And they say an emotion generally takes 90 seconds to pass through. I know there's many times where I will spiral into a negative emotion and it can last hours, it can last days, it can last weeks. But when I do my breath work, the moment that I'm experiencing emotion, the patterned breathing, the trying to identify where I'm feeling that emotion in my body. Is it in my chest? Is it in my gut? Is it in my shoulders? Does it feel overbearing? First, I describe where I'm feeling it, what it feels like, and then I see if I can label it. Is it anger? Is it injustice? Is it sadness or loneliness? And then I try to see if a memory pops up. And sometimes a specific memory would pop up, and sometimes nothing would. But when I'm doing those exercises, I'm usually good within, they say 90 seconds. I haven't timed it. There was one time I timed it, and yeah, it was under 3 minutes, and the emotion was gone. It had passed. I didn't spiral. I allowed it to process, and it really was just like a storm that just came and dumped and then left. Resiliency is teaching us that the thunderstorms and monsoons that come through and dump on us and leave are beautiful, and they can be just that. They can come and dump and leave. They don't need to be the weeks long of rain that you would get up in the Pacific Northwest. But that's where resiliency in your choice, consistently choosing to pay attention to the body, pay attention to the sensations, pay attention to if you're living in alignment. And if you're doing everything you can to live in alignment and everything's still burning down around you, a month ago I kept saying my whole life was burning down. Well, flames showed up. Be careful what you wish for. The point is, choose yourself, because you are resilient. You are capable. Everything is always working out for you. Even if it seems like a disaster, it's creating resilience. It's allowing you the experience to problem solve. It's allowing you the experience to lead whoever else is involved in the situation. It's allowing you experience to trust yourself that you can handle it. And maybe that's the trick, is just allowing the experience to be as it is. Choose consistency, choose resiliency. Much love.